Welcome to class online. I'll be taking you biology. Today's topic we'll be talking about recognizing living things. Under recognizing living things, we'll be talking about 3 subtopics: difference between plant and animal, level of organization of life, complexity of organization in higher organisms, their advantages and disadvantages. Difference between plant and animal. Movements in plants are restricted, while the movements in animals, they move in different ways. What do I mean movements in plants are restricted? In plants, like the mango you have or the cashew tree, they don't move from one place to another. But the animals we have around us, we have the dogs, we have goats, they move from one place to another. Even the chickens, they move from one place to another. In plants, their cells are rigid, while in animals, their cells are flexible. In plants, glucose are stored in starch, while in animals, glucose are stored as glycogen. In plants also, their growth are not limited, while in animals, their growth gradually comes to a standstill. Why do I say in plants their growth are not limited? They grow in their roots and shoots. If you see plants today, if they are growing, they can stay for 1,000 years and they can grow very big. Some are used as timbers in making chairs and other things that we use. While in animals, when they grow, they come to a point when they stop growing. Even in humans too, there's a point you get to, you stop growing and you start diminishing. In plants, they possess large vacuole, while in animals, they possess small or no vacuole. In plants, they manufacture their food with chlorophyll, while in animals, they depend on already made food. In plants, their food that they manufacture through chlorophyll comes from sunlight. Then we, the animals or humans, we eat already made food. If you see the goats, the dogs, they eat already made food. People provide food for them to eat. We too, in humans, we provide our own food and we eat already made food. We even eat the animals, we eat the grass. Humans are omnivorous, so we eat both grass and animals. That is all for difference between plant and animal. We are going to the second one, which says level of organization of life. Level of organization of life. We are going to be talking about 4 functional levels. Number 1, cells. Number 2, tissues. Number 3, organs. Number 4, systems. Like I said before, number 1, cells. Number 2, tissues. Number 3, organs. Number 4, systems. Cells are often called the building block of life. They are the smallest units of life that can replicate. Examples are amoeba, paramecium, euglena, etc. Tissue. Tissue is a group of similar cells from the same origin that together carry out a specific function. Examples are blood, your nerve, and the bone. Examples of animals that exist as tissue are called hydras. The organs. Organs are a group of tissues in a living organism that have been adapted to perform a specific function. In higher organs, are grouped into organic system, e.g. the esophagus, the stomach, the liver. All these are grouped in as the digestive system. Lastly, the systems. System is a group of 2 or more organs that work together to perform a specific function for that organism. Example, we have the excretory system, we have the digestive system, we have the circulatory system, etc. Having discussed the 4 levels of organization of life, the cells, tissue, organ, and system, we're going to the last one, the complexity of organization in higher organisms, advantages and disadvantages. Complexity in organisms explain the varying functional capabilities of each level of organization. For example, smaller animals require no backbone. What do I mean by backbone? This is our skeletal backbone we have as humans, and other animals has also. Smaller organisms like amoeba, paramecium, etc., they don't have backbone. But higher animals, the higher you go, the more complex the organism becomes. Research have made it that mammals are the most complex. This he has shown in terms of the display of his intelligence. You will agree with me that you can't compare a human brain with an animal brain. For example, a human brain with a goat brain. There are some things goat does and humans can never do. So you agree with me now that mammals are more intelligent, higher than other organisms. Though all of us, we are termed animals, but we are higher animals than other organisms. That is the complexity of life. Now we will talk about the advantages and the disadvantages. The advantages, number 1, there is specialization of various cells. There is efficiency. Specialization of various cells. In a body, your body parts are arranged in different cells. In the organisms, they are arranged to carry out specific functions. Each part of the body is arranged to carry out specific functions. Like the heart carries its own function. The heart cannot carry the function of the circulatory system. The heart has its own function. The brain has its function. One body function does not adversely affect other body function, like I've just said. If the heart is functioning, it's functioning in its own place. If your stomach or your circulatory system is functioning, it's functioning in its own place. If the heart and your brain is functioning, it's also functioning in its own place. So they don't mix together. All of them carry their own functions. There is specialization leads to division of labor. Let's say, for example, the brain. If the brain is functioning, it passes the message from your brain to your eyes, because the brain controls your eyes. You want to see now, you open your eye, your brain sends the message direct to your eyes, and you view whatever you want to view. The sound you hear will first take up the message to your brain, then your brain interprets it for you to understand. So they specialize their functions, and it leads to division of labor. So there are disadvantages. Number 1, individual cells are not capable of existing independently and therefore depend on one another activities to exist. Another one is more effort is needed to eliminate waste. Energy and time are being wasted. Due to complexity, organisms must obtain enough food and oxygen to activate them and avoid risk of death. What do I mean by that? For example, if I don't eat, I won't function well. If I don't eat, I can't even pick up this pen and this paper to talk to you here. So I need food, enough food for me to function well. So also other smaller organisms need enough food to carry out their own functions also. So having known all this, we've talked about the difference between plants and animals. We've talked about level of organization of life. We've talked about the complexity of organization in higher organisms, their advantages and disadvantages. Remember, when we're talking about the complexity of organization of life, I made mention of the brain. The brain is very complex. You remember I said mammals are the highest in the food chain, or in complexity, they are the highest. So, having known all this, I'll see you in our next class.